Welcome to Entry Point Faith. Join us each week to discover fresh meaning in the world and find faith your way. Now, here is Pastor Nancy Lafferty.
Christmas time is family time. Kids come home from college. Families pack up the kids and travel to the grandparents. Most people in our culture make an effort to see family members sometime during the Christmas holiday. Sometimes when we are all together and we're sitting around talking after a meal or after a game that we've watched or a game that we've played, we start reminiscing about family events and stories, don't we? We talk about times that made us laugh or times that made us cry or times that have now become oft-repeated legends within the family, stories that decades have been told. So one of my friends recently told me about one of her family's Christmas meals a couple years ago. Everyone between the ages of 10 and 20 had to sit at the kids' table. And so naturally, the older kids were kind of, showing off for the younger cousins. And jokes were told and songs were sung and card tricks were played. And then finally, one of the teenage boys declares he could put his finger through the flame on the candle without getting burned. And so he did. He was like amazing the younger cousins and doing it repeatedly. And then right after that, he reached to get one of the rolls, and somehow he leaned his head over into the flame and caught his hair on fire. And one of his little cousins goes, "You're on fire." And he goes, "Yeah, I know." And he goes, "No, really, you're on fire. Your hair's on fire." So she picked up her water glass and dumped it on his head to try to put the flames out. Obviously, that will become one of the legends. He was fine. That will become one of the legends of that family. But the holidays are also a time of facing our family skeletons and difficult issues. Sometimes we don't want to be with our family members because, well, I don't need to tell you, some of them are difficult to be around. Yes, Christmas is the season that we most often see our families, but it's also the season of memories of disappointment, memories of embarrassment, memories of conversation that went off the rails, moments that we all wish we could wash off the walls of our mind. For some reason, though, the disappointments bother us more during the holidays. And of course, with each passing year, what we need and what we're able to give to our families change. And I'm not talking about the tangible gifts that we give, but what we need and give to each other emotionally changes with time. It's also a time when we're very tempted to compare ourselves and our families to the Hallmark images of the holidays. You might be a little jealous of the beautiful pictures of the family on Facebook, ice skating together, wrapped in blankets, sipping hot chocolate together, hugging each other, or the families that post their matching pajama pictures. Beth, go ahead. I know the chandelier's there, but go ahead and show them. So one of my friends posted this beautiful picture, and I don't know if you can see. She is standing there with her newborn 3-week-old daughter with 3 other daughters, just 4 daughters. And I don't know if you can tell, but she boldly posted the words, "All is calm, all is bright," and literally the 3 other children were fighting with each other in their matching pajamas. And she's told her husband, "Take this picture because it's real." And I love that she did that. But an aspect of the holidays that I always worry about is the holiday depression that can set in. When the magic of Christmas just isn't happening for us, we are much more prone to feel sadder and lonelier than at any other time of the year. And when I think of Christmas despair, I'm reminded of the movie It's a Wonderful Life. In the movie, the play, and the book, we meet George Bailey, a man who is in despair. He's standing at the bridge, ready to end his life because his life has been destroyed by other people. He's bankrupt, he's facing prison, and in order to provide for his wife and children, he decides that he would, in fact, be worth more dead than alive. And he would have thrown himself off the bridge had an angel from heaven named Clarence not intervened and stopped him. And if that's not bad enough, George Bailey goes even deeper into despair. He believes that not only is his future not worth living, but that his past wasn't worth living either. He begins to think that every suffering that he endured, every piece of good that he tried to do was not only pointless, but actively harmful, and that he and the world would be better off if he had never existed at all. A dark, dark moment for any human to be in. As the movie unfolds, though, George begins to see that his views about the value of his life and the effect of his actions on other people were completely wrong. Each thing that happened to him along his life's journey impacted someone else for good. Everywhere he turns, he discovers that his existence wasn't that bad. His struggles and his sufferings did accomplish something, and his painful existence was not a tragedy, but it was a gift to the people around him. And that's the phrase I want us to remember about this movie. Each one of us has the gift of our existence. We are alive. We have something wonderful to offer to other people. Now, we've all had our George Bailey moments, feeling like the world would be better off without us. We've all been through tragedies and pain. But when we are able to work through that and look back over that episode of darkness, we're usually able to find the same relief that George Bailey discovered. Our life does have meaning. We matter. It's a reminder of the interaction between the light and the dark. The dark makes light even more precious and meaningful. When we can get through the dark times, we will see that there was indeed a light at the end of the tunnel, a light of hope. Always the light brings us hope. And when we finally can draw a breath and reflect back, just as George Bailey saw, we realize God's greatest gift to us, the gift of a wonderful life, a life filled with wonder. Now, when we were children, we saw the world through eyes filled with wonder. We looked around without inhibition. We didn't care what we looked like. We cheered every leaf. We played with every grain of sand. We touched every blade of grass that we could. We enjoyed the feeling of the wind in our faces. We were overwhelmed by the chill of water. Everything was exhilarating. Every moment was a wow moment. So much joy and ecstasy, jumping and hopping and running and exploding. We all felt like that when we were children. And look at us now. We're tired. We're disenchanted. We don't care about flowers and gardens like that anymore, or wind, or birds, or leaves, or rain. We're tired. We're tired of the same people. Tired of traveling the same route every day. We want something new. Why aren't our eyes full of wonder anymore? What happened to the wonder? Well, the simple answer is we grew up. We aged. So there's a verse in the Bible that speaks to this phenomenon very clearly, and you probably know, you're probably familiar with this. When I was a child, I used to speak like a child, think like a child, reason like a child. But when I became an adult, I put childish ways aside. I'm not so sure that's the wisest thing for us to do. But here's the secret about this aging business. We are still the same child down inside. The person, the soul that we are, doesn't age, but our bodies do. I don't know about you, but I'm surprised every time I look in the mirror. Who is that? When did that happen? I look really bad for 32. Buddhist monk Bhikkhu Bodhi describes it this way. We are always still and not moving at all. Time passes through us. We don't pass time. Whatever belongs to this world changes and moves. In our childhood, youth, old age, the ageless in you remains ageless. And it doesn't change. But the body ages because it follows the rule of nature. So I'm going to adopt that phrase. I like that. Time passes through me. I'm not passing time. This holiday season, when we are with family and friends, let's connect with that ageless part of us, that child within us. Let's look with wonder and surprise at the gathering, at the food, at the people, as though we're meeting them for the first time. Let's be gentle as we speak to them, as though we don't know them very well, unable to recall their annoying traits. Let's look at the lights, the decorations, the delight of each moment with the excitement of a child whose body can't possibly contain the joy. Like it's a whole new experience, not like, here we go again. Not like we're tired, not like we're looking at the same old people. Let's bring back the wonder. Let's take stock of the struggles that we have overcome, the darkness that has turned into the light, the personal goals that we have reached, the accomplishments that we have made, and then let's smile and thank God, because it is, after all, chandelier included, a wonderful life. Amen.
Thanks for listening in on this week's discussion on Entry Point Faith. You can join the Entry Point Faith community in person every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. at Conner Prairie in Fishers, Indiana. For more information and a transcript of Nancy's messages, visit entrypointonline.org. Entry Point Faith is brought to you in partnership with mypodcast.media.